Everyone, thanks for being here. To cut the ribbon on New Bedford Research and Robotics, we'll start with Mayor John Mitchell.
Wow, this is the best time I've had in a hot, sweaty garage ever. This is pretty cool. Well, welcome everybody. We have an announcement that is long in the making. For those of you who are standing, there's still some empty chairs up here. I feel like this is like church. People don't want to proceed to the front, so there's no extra scrutiny involved. Go ahead and if you want to sit down, do that. If not, lend me your ears. I want to leave a lot of the detail for Mark because I think he best can capture it. But I just want to say a few things from the city's perspective. So first off, we're really proud to support this project for lots of reasons. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it just to set the table. So New Bedford Research and Robotics is many things. It's an incubator, it's a classroom, it is a promoter of economic development, and it is not just a wishful idea. So by that I mean this. Mark Parsons has already achieved liftoff in the concept, and he's been succeeding with it at the Pratt Institute for a long time now. And so the concept has been proved, and it is one that we are so pleased that he has brought back home to New Bedford. And that's where this sort of act of both inspiration as well as generosity to a certain extent and fun comes in. Mark's a homer. Mark's from here, and Mark left, as so many folks have done over the years, and has come back. I did it, a number of you have done it, because we're so proud to be from this place, and we really want to see, to be part of its rebirth. And so what Mark has done at the Pratt Institute is nationally significant. He is really, particularly in New York State, set the standard for robotics research and robotics incubation, and has done it. It has a real following, and if he hadn't had that following, it probably would have been very difficult to have gotten this off the ground. Even though there's public money going into it, the private money for sure wouldn't have been available to do all this and to continue to grow it out if he didn't have a proven track record. So he does. But the reality is he's bringing it back home to New Bedford, and that is a great thing. Today is it's kind of a hybrid of a ceremony. It is at once a groundbreaking and a ribbon cutting. It's kind of in between. It's already up and running, and so it's not like we're putting a spade in the ground and symbolically kicking it off. It's already going. It's already going, and it's already garnering headlines, and it's already having an impact. For us in the city, it's a lot of great things. So, I talk a lot about the strategy, our economic strategy, our regeneration strategy over the years, and it boils down to this. It is all about doubling down on what we're good at already, and doing so that leads to opportunity, not just in an economy that existed 50 to 100 years ago, one of more brawn than of brains, but doing both the brawn and the brains. We focus a lot on the waterfront, of course, because of New Bedford's ancestral connection and current connection to the sea, but we also know that all of that can offer opportunities to innovate, to promote research, and to do those things that will continue to make New Bedford a national leader in a knowledge-based economy. That's what we're doing. We want to do it all. We want to do the big-shouldered stuff and the big brain stuff, and because they can complement one another along the way. And so that's why you see so much investment going into the port to continue to rebuild the economic base of the city. You see so much in the way of workforce development, like Naui on the waterfront, all the investment we've done in the school system. Andrew O'Leary is here. This place is already plugged in to the school department, and it is why we continue to push research and innovation, because those things, nobody has written a rule that says that those things can only happen in big cities around major research universities. We believe that that can happen here, and that's why we're pushing hard on it, because that's the way in the long run New Bedford and the region, the entire region of Greater New Bedford, will sustain itself. So there's a lot to talk about here today. There are others, and particularly Mark, who are better suited than to do that, but I really want to thank Mark for not only all the talent you bring here, but your commitment to the city. He is all in every respect. I can attest that as his neighbor. He just put in a really expensive fence at his house. Right? I know now the guy's committed. It's a fabulous fence along the side of his property. It's like that's a guy who means business. So, but no, in all seriousness, this is a real reflection of Mark's commitment here to do right by the city, to be part of the city's growth. There are a number of people that I want to thank. There was a lot of support here for Mark's efforts, and Mark certainly pulled people together for this, but there are a lot of folks and institutions that have played a big part in it. There's been, and I'm not going to be able, if I miss somebody, please, Mark can back me up. He'll make sure that we capture everybody who needs to be recognized today. But I want to say that I'm grateful, first off, for the help from the state, from Mass Development. Executive Director Dan O'Connell is here. He has been in the economic development business for a long time and has a tremendous statewide reputation for the work he's done, especially in the Boston area, but he knows how in places that are not part of major metros that you have to make the most of what you have, and that's what we're doing, and he fully recognizes that. We really appreciate the support from Mass Development, some $900,000 that went into the capital end of this project. Bay Coast Bank provided a great deal of the financing. They were, in some ways, they vouched for this project by doing that, by putting their capital in it, and that allowed more capital to come along for sure. A number of other contributors along the way, but the city played a big role in this. So the city we put in $2.2 million in ARPA funds. I want to thank the federal delegation, Liz Rhoda from Congressman Keating's office is here, for their support for the American Rescue Plan Act, which has allowed us to do a lot of stuff that we, for years, had only hoped to reach but couldn't because we didn't have the funding. In this particular case, we decided that this was a good bet. The ARPA regulations are really complicated, and we looked at this project as one that we thought we could fit into it, but we needed all manner of legal opinions to make that happen, and so it took more work than I have time to explain, and more hoop jumping through. Mark is very versed in ARPA regulations. He's learned more than he cares to know about them at this point, but I'm really proud of the ARPA team. Jessica Bailey, for one, Elise Raposa, most especially, and I don't know if she's here, if Christina Connolly is here. Is Christina here? Yeah. Well, Christina Connolly, the city's chief operating officer, really got to understand this project and advocated for it, and got me to understand why it was so important. And she deserves a tremendous amount of gratitude for her persistence in making that happen. But this is a bet. This represents a big bet of public funds, your taxpayer dollars going into this project, and I think I am fully confident that that is a really good bet that will pay off handsomely for the city in the long run. I want to thank the City Council as well. You'll hear from Naomi Carney, President of the City Council, in a moment, but I wanted to say thanks to her as well as to Derek Baptiste, the Ward Councilor here in Ward 4, for their support of the use of ARPA funds, as well as, of course, the state delegation, the Bedford delegation, for their support of the state funding as well. There's a lot to like here. This is a whole lot of pent-up potential. There are lots of funders, and I know that there's some folks that I wasn't able to cite. I wanted to cite the higher end things, but the highest, the folks who put in the most, but Mark will make sure that I hit everybody. But what I wanted to say more than anything else is that the work here is exactly what we want to be doing. Derek Santos, our Director of Economic Development, who's a neighbor right in the Quest Center, knows that there's a whole lot of development going on right here. This will leverage a whole lot of other investment and complement what's going on with the Intercity Rail Station, with all the development of the Quest Center, with the Armory that is now in the city's hands for development, and all the infrastructure work that we're doing along the corridor here on Purchase Street, as well as the parking garage that we're going to build over there at the former New Bedford Tech building. There's a lot going on here. I list all of it because it's an exciting time, not just to be in New Bedford, but to be in this particular neighborhood. I see all kinds of good things to come from it, and I'm thrilled that we're able to pull it all together. This is not an easy project. I mean, for anybody, just step back and look at it. This was, remember this as Glazer Glass, and the Glazer family represent the best of small business in Greater New Bedford for a long time, and they have moved on to other things now, but I think they recognize the potential here. We recognize it, and it's a pretty cool thing to go from this real emblem of entrepreneurship in New Bedford to future entrepreneurship with cutting-edge industry. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope you are too. I want to thank Mark in particular, and I want to now call up Dan O'Connell, the CEO of Mass Development, to say a few words on behalf of the state. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good morning. Thank you to Mayor Mitchell. Mayor Mitchell is a strong and effective advocate on behalf of New Bedford. When he offers to us advice and counsel, we listen. And when he asks for help, we try to help in any way we can. So New Bedford is lucky to have him leading you forward. I'm the President and CEO of Mass Development, and on behalf of our chair, Secretary Yvonne Howe, Secretary of Economic Development, I want to congratulate the mayor, the city council, President Naomi Carney here, and Executive Director Mark Parsons on bringing New Bedford research and robotics to life. For those who don't know, Mass Development is the Commonwealth's Development Finance Agency and Land Bank. We work with businesses, nonprofits, banks, and communities, most importantly communities, to stimulate economic growth across Massachusetts. We also manage grant programs on behalf of the Commonwealth, and the funds for this grant program came from the diligent efforts of your state delegation. You have some of the most effective senator representatives that we work with, and they work as a team, and that team effort has many rewards for New Bedford, and this program that we use for this particular project came from their efforts. The grant program on behalf of the Commonwealth that we did use here is the Underutilized Properties Program, which targets underused, abandoned, or vacant properties. We were pleased to award a $900,000 grant to New Bedford Research and Robotics to help the organizations renovate this formerly vacant building. including upgrading the roof, windows, flooring, plumbing, electrical, and more to stabilize the property and attract additional investment. It's a pleasure to now see this revitalized building and see firsthand the innovative activity underway, and to learn more about the future plans for advanced economic activity and impact in New Bedford through the technology and resources that you offer here. Before I close, I want to acknowledge two members of our team that are here today. Senior Vice President of Real Estate Development, Robert Jenkins, and Vice President of Community Development for the South Region, Dottie Fulginetti, who also manages our underutilized property program and made the recommendation to fund this project. Congratulations, and I'll say once again, as it has done so many times in your history, New Bedford is leading the way. Thank you.
I almost feel like I get some work done on my windshield when I'm in here. Can't help myself. Old habits die hard. I did want to, before I introduce our next speaker, I did want to thank the Carney Foundation. Lil Carney is here, and other members of the Carney family. Just wanted to say thanks for all the support, as always. I'm going to call up now our City Council President, Naomi Carney, to say a few words. Naomi.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you all for coming. This is exciting for the city of New Bedford, and yes, New Bedford does lead the way. I'd like to bring up my colleague, Derek Baptiste, who is the Ward 4 City Council, where this program is located, and he does a lot. Not only this is a great opportunity of economic development for the city of New Bedford, but it's an awesome, awesome partnership for our youth in this community with New Bedford High School and with the youth programs that Derek works with, and also with C-Lab that does a lot of robotics. This is going to be an awesome program for bringing our youth to another generation where they're going to learn and experience the world of robotics, and it's going to be an awesome opportunity, not only for the city of New Bedford, but for the community around us, because we're going to let them fly when they get their wings. So I also want to thank Mark for the initiative to bringing this to New Bedford. This is an awesome opportunity for us. And thank all my city councilors that also supported the ARPA funds that made this possible, and along with Mass Development and all the partners that donated to this wonderful project. And yes, I've had so many windshields fixed in this building over my lifetime too. But anyways, I'd like to call up my council from Ward 4, Derek Baptiste, who also works with the youth, and I'd like him to say a couple of words about this wonderful program.
Should I read off, y'all?
No.
Sorry, good morning, everybody. How you doing today? Thank you, first of all, you guys, Matt, Mark, all you guys that work up over here with these young people, developing the space. It really is about them. I think that, I think a lot of people, we talked about the money and the funding that goes into it. I think that, I think everybody should look to the right and see what the funding is for and who the funding is for. Look at the faces, look at the backgrounds, look at the races that they come from, and look at how they make up the city of New Bedford, and look at how proud they make this. As far as the space, as a Ward 4 councilor, it's going to be pretty nice coming off of Route 18 and seeing this place developed. It used to be thriving with business all the time, and then it just lacked for a long time. And now we see more thriving business coming here with these young engineers that are going to come in here and develop things that are going to help change this, the aspects of this whole city and this community. And this is what we need. This is what we need going forward. Thankful to the school department and all they do. Thankful to the mayor and his staff for everything that they put into it. Everybody has something to do with this, and they put something involved with it. So I think that as you being the pioneer of this, and putting this forward and helping young people thrive, I think that as an employee of Mass Hire, being able to speak for the team that I work with at Mass Hire, being to work with these young people, work with your managers, have communication and see what they're doing and be able to help them advance in their careers. That's what we do at Mass Hire as well, and that's what we're here for, the youth of the community. So I want to thank all you for coming out. Everybody that put funding into this, you for putting your neck on the line for doing it, and for you guys for being the first domino. A domino has to drop for it to keep going, for everything to keep going. You are the first domino, so thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Yes, and thank you, everybody.
Yeah, just to pick up on the point that Councilor Baptiste was making, this place will only work if it's creating opportunity. And it's not just opportunity for new businesses as much as we want that. We want new businesses to form here. We want them to scale ultimately in New Bedford, but it's also to throw the doors of opportunity open to school children. This is a classroom, and it is a classroom that the likes of which cannot be found in a traditional high school. We want this to be a place where students can run with their talent, where their talent can be activated. And so the partnership that it will have with New Bedford Public Schools is crucial to its mission and crucial to, frankly, the support that it's gotten from the city and from the private sector. So I want to ask Superintendent O'Leary to come on up to talk a little bit about that connection, and he's bringing gifts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm just so grateful, and I could not pass up the opportunity. As superintendent of New Bedford Public Schools, I cannot pass up the opportunity to just say thank you. Thank you to New Bedford Research and Robotics, to Mark especially, and to Matt Packness as well. New Bedford Research and Robotics is a model partner in my estimation. They work directly with our students. They do not look for plaudits. They do not look for much from us at the school department other than get us into the classroom and get us in front of students, get us working with students. And that's what they do directly. And to be a little abstract and to look at it long term, if you look at what the reports that the Donahue Institute is putting out right now, they're very clear on what the workforce in Massachusetts needs. The workforce of the future is diverse. Addressing longstanding inequity unleashes economic potential, and the workforce of the future and the workforce we need is inclusive. New Bedford Public Schools models diversity, equity, and inclusion, and within New Bedford Public Schools, New Bedford Research and Robotics are there. And again, we are just so grateful, and I do have a small token of our gratitude to give to Mark and Matt. It is a modest token of a Superintendent's Community Award, and I can think of no better community partner than New Bedford Research and Robotics.
All right, very well done. Thank you, guys. Thank you both. All right, without any further ado, I want to call up the man of the hour himself. And look, as Mark well knows, as many of you know, that entrepreneurship entails a leap of faith, a leap of confidence, and it is a leap into the unknown. You really don't know how things are going to work out. If it was so clear how things are going to work out, somebody else would have done it already and be making money off of it. So that's where the thrill lies, and that's where it may be a little bit daunting, and you have to be motivated. And in Mark's case, it's not so much being motivated by making money, profiting. I hope this place is hugely profitable, but it's also the type of enterprise that will matter to a lot of people beyond their wallets. And it will matter to the place where it is being done. And in that way, it's an act of love. And for that, we greatly appreciate what you've done, Mark, and what you are doing here, and what you will do. A lot of us have placed a bet on you, and you, I think, are a really safe bet. So thank you for making it happen. And come on up and tell us more, please.
Okay, I wasn't nervous until that introduction about the risk and the bets and all that stuff. Now I'm nervous. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to say three things. I'm not going to take a long time to do it. Can you hear me in the back there, Mr. Lima? Yeah, okay. So three things. The first thing I'm going to say is thank you. The second thing I'm going to talk about is New Bedford Research in Robotics and what we do here and why we do it. And the third thing is about this building and what it takes to activate this building. So I will not go through a list of thank yous because the people that are in this room represent kind of individual interest and organizational interest that is really broad in our first 2 years. It'll be impossible to effectively name everybody. So I'm going to be very general in my thank yous to you as community members and taking interest in authenticating the work that we're doing here by being here today. And I really and truly mean thank you so much for putting yourselves out here and being present today. So that's to all of you. I have to thank Mayor Mitchell and Councilmember Carney and Mr. Baptiste and everybody from the city who is behind this project and also came to speak today to validate the work that we're doing here. And when I say we, I mean all those people back there, which we will get to in a minute. Thank you all for really setting the stage because your leadership in the city is one that allows an idea like this one to germinate, where 10 years ago, it probably wouldn't have worked. And from New York City, where I started the predecessor organization, also a nonprofit, the people who were following us closely said, come to Detroit, come to Austin, come to California, come to the big city to do this. And if we're going to do something meaningful and something that can be replicated and copied and inspire, we're going to do that in New Bedford as a post-industrial city with grit and energy and soul in order that we can do it elsewhere. It can be copied and we can replicate that elsewhere in the state. So that's why we're here in New Bedford. It's powerful. And I have to tell a personal anecdote. When the first article came out, it was 2021, about the intentions behind this thing. Nothing had happened yet. It was all hot air. When the first article came out, I got an email, I'll spare you her last name, from a young woman named Emma from New Bedford. She wrote to me and she said, I left New Bedford to pursue my direction elsewhere because New Bedford Research in Robotics was not there. But you're building something that people like me can stay home and do the work in New Bedford. And I have to say, I'm motivated by a lot of things, but I'm talking to you about an email from a young lady named Emma from New Bedford. Because it's the little things that we do and those little incremental shifts that we're able to step forward together that make a real movement. It's the small, small things about changing our world, not changing the world, changing our world. We are doing this together. I've met so many amazing people from this community. So I apologize for losing composure there for a second. So I thank the city for realizing a vision of infrastructure that allows New Bedford Research in Robotics to be a reality today. Thank you. I also have to thank the state for getting behind this, of course. All the folks from the state who are here, who are expressing their understanding that New Bedford, and by extension New Bedford Research in Robotics, can play a role in the Commonwealth, an important role in how we are healthy as a society and healthy as an economy and being inclusive. So thank you, sir, and everyone else from the state who's behind this, including Peter Haas as well. Mass Tech Collaborative is here, and I'm probably missing others, but the state is here. The state has eyes on. We in New Bedford are garnering the attention of the state. I'm done with thank yous, except for the team. I'll get to you guys later. I want to talk about two more things. One is, what is NBRR? So there are things about New Bedford Research in Robotics that I'm sure you're well aware of, the work that we do, and I bet there are things that you don't know what we do as well. And so I just need to take the time to say, we are an ecosystem of parts and programs and people. That ecosystem has 5 channels of activity, and we started strategically with STEM, which we call STEAM, with community engagement and with university connections and research, right? That's intentional. So it's because we need to create trusting relationships with the city. Who's this guy from New York with a robot? Like, skeptic. That's reason to be skeptical right there. But when you understand that we're empowering, as Mr. O'Leary stated, empowering the youth from the community, you understand what the values are behind the digital manufacturing and robotics that we're doing here. So STEM, which we call STEAM, A to the 3rd power, the arts, we've all heard that part, accessibility to extraordinary frontier technologies, and it is extraordinary, it is cutting edge back there, and the applied condition of how the students are learning and then doing in a scientific process. It's iterative, and they're doing it elbow to elbow with the university students, with the graduate students, with the PhD students, with the startups, with the industry that's in the building. That's so important. That's inspiring because we all need to sense that we belong in the space, and when we're doing the work and we're doing it with others who are up here that we look up to, who employ us, who intern us, that's how we know we belong. And that's the most important thing. It's not about a line of code. It's not about a robot. It's about knowing that you have a role to play in the future. That's the most important thing that we do here with our STEM program. We have an artisan designer in residency program. We do AHA nights. We have open lecture series. We do lots of things to connect with the city, so that's community engagement. We do internal research here. That means with the universities. We've had 6 universities in this space already, and we have things that are bubbling forth out of the extraordinary knowledge of our staff, our engineering staff, and our interns as well. What you don't know is that we are truly at the cutting edge of robotic additive manufacturing here in New Bedford. We've worked on a project with a company from Australia, Vancouver. We've launched a startup in fashion out of additive manufacturing. We've used biomaterials. You're going to go back there after the ribbon cutting and you're going to see how we're using recycled plastic to make things here, other extraordinary things. So we are truly in the front of the line with robotic manufacturing. So that's our internal research and university connections. We have hosted 5 startups. When this building is online, it's going to be 15 or more. That's the key, right? We have to scale this thing, and that's how we're going to get to the building conversation in a moment. And we've worked with, in industry, R&D, we've worked with an aerospace company that's in the building right now. We are under non-disclosure agreements about the work, but it leaves the atmosphere and goes out into space and comes back. Let's just put it that way. This is legitimate work we're doing with extraordinary materials. We have worked with architecture and engineering companies. We've worked with renewable energy companies, some of whom are in the building. So we're bookending it. That ecosystem is a bookends, right? We're pulling up from underneath, educating people through workforce development, upskilling people to either go to college or to start their own businesses or to become employees in businesses. We're doing that at the same time as we're working at this very high order of technology, AI, additive manufacturing, machine learning, which you're going to learn about in a minute. So that's the ecosystem and how those parts come together and where people are rubbing elbows and where you gain trust. This is what makes it accessible. You put 2 people in the room, you build trust between those two to people. As long as we're serving equitably, that means we're putting a diverse group of people in the room, and that means those people get jobs and opportunities, college opportunities, educational opportunities, and employment opportunities. So that's the motivation. I am unbelievably happy with the work that our staff has been doing to have this idea become a reality over the course of the last 2 years. So when we're done with the ribbon cutting, please take 15 minutes to speak with Yashika and Jack about the AI and machine learning and vision that we have here, and then go to the back and look at Massachusetts' largest robot for innovation and education. It's quite extraordinary, the work that we're doing back there as well. Okay, finally the building. The money that you heard about coming from the city and the state is going directly, every single dollar is going directly into this building. It's not operational funds. It doesn't pay salaries or anything like that. It is for UPP, for underutilized and vacant buildings, and it is activating this space. And there's another valence of teamwork that has been happening in the background around that for the last 2 years. So if you look at these schematics, they're a function of the vision of Union Studio, Architecture, and Community Design, who is here somewhere. Please raise your hand, Union. There's 3 people right there. So if you want to talk about the complexities of that process, Union Studio is here. Our construction management team is here as well, and our rep team is here as well. So Parasalt and Peregrine, those are important people for you to know. You're going to see a lot more of them. Oh, what's this, a prop? You're going to see a lot more of them really soon. What's that say, building permit? So you're going to see a lot more of them really soon as we bring this building online. So here's the thing. We could have done NBRR in many, many different places. We looked downtown, we looked uptown, we looked south end, we looked sort of right at the 195. There's some interesting buildings, lots of interesting buildings. But we found this one. And as a carpenter, like 16-year-old carpenter, this is where I came to change my windshield as well in New Bedford. This building is a legacy, the way it was spoken about earlier. I won't go back over that, but it's positioned beautifully. And the genetics of this building, what it looks like and its shape, are declarative of our desire to be accessible. It's long, it's low, it's not on a campus, it's not behind a wall, it's not in a tower. It's right here, and it's spilling out onto the street, and it's coming through those doors like you did today. So we're doing the work, but the building is declaring the work that we're doing. That way, the first, second, and tertiary order of people that are here, people passing, New Bedford needs to look in the mirror in 2 years and say, this is the work that we do here. And it reminds me of the STEM thing I said. We need to own, we need to believe in ourselves, right? There's a lot of ways to benefit this city. And so the vision of the state and the mayor's office and the city council to invest in this building in order that New Bedford Research and Robotics can realize its vision at scale and share that vision with the city is what makes this team extraordinary. So thank you all for being here. You are all now part of the team. If you were not already, you're now part of the team for being here. I am available, my staff is available, and they're more interesting than the people standing at the podium are. So because they're telling you the story of who they are, why they're here, what they're doing, and why it matters. Go ask those 4 questions. Who are you? What are you doing? What brought you here? Why does it matter? Please, I invite you to do that. It's all about that we. Thank you, team.
Anybody seen The Terminator?
Okay. Everybody look here. Okay, and 1, 2, 3.
Recycled plastic and then you melt it down to create this?
Exactly, yeah. So I've got a crazy looking little doohickey here. Basically, it comes in the form of a bunch of little pellets
Okay.
that then go through this funnel,
Alright.
and then they get heated up in this chamber here. So that's why you got a bunch of cooling fans. And this is a motor that has basically like a drill that pushes it out, this nozzle. And then when it comes out like 200 degrees Celsius, give or take. So then we have to cool it down really quickly in order to build on top of it, especially for these thin shapes there. And that's basically it.
So how do you form this?
So we
tower?
throw this on this robot right here, which is doing something very similar, but with clay. So the clay we just load up in the tube, and then we have a motor that pushes it out. The same kind of idea. So this is an interchangeable part with the thermoplastic extruder, we call it. Right now we have the clay extruder on because we're doing some research for that. But yeah, we can just switch out different tool heads to print with different materials and any kind of thermoplastic you can put in there. So we use biomaterials.
It goes in whatever shape that you are programming this device.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep. So we just design it in the software, throw in the slicer, and it tells the path that the robot needs to travel, and then we send it to the robot and it takes care of it.
So this must have taken a long time to get to that height.
I was about 2.5 hours for that one.
2.5 hours is not bad.
Not bad. Yeah, this one is only going at a quarter of the speed.
Okay.
We needed to be away while it was going for the ribbon cutting. So it can go like 4
So
times
it's
faster.
a lot faster.
Yeah, the thermoplastic can go even faster than the clay.
So what we're doing is pretty much sand casting. So that's where you pretty much take a body. Right now we have a hammer, and then you lift it up, and you can pour, I guess, liquid metal. You can pour plaster, concrete. So you pretty much make a design with sand, and you can just take it out, shake it out, and clean it up. However, why we have it so close to the robot is because our plan is to equip tool heads. Like this one's a little bent, but we are going to equip this to the robot over there. It's gonna make its way over, and it's actually gonna draw patterns on the sand. And then we can pretty much make our own walls at that point with pouring plaster over it. And then the plaster hardens and cures, and then we can ship those walls with whatever design you want to anyone. We can also make shapes like you have this hammer. We play with 6 different sands to find the right consistency. If you want to see that, it's really fine particles right there. It's much finer than beach sand, and we had to find the right supplier so we can draw lines that are sharp enough and small enough. You see right here, that contour is really important, and also the intersection that it makes. So we can make really interesting designs. So that's our plan so far. We're gonna expand it. It goes 8 inches deep, so deeper than this, but we just wanted a little demo for everyone.
So that's robotic metal forming. You start off with a sheet of metal stock, and what the robot does is it gradually pushes it down. And what we've added to it is we are etching the surface as well with the tool. And yesterday we just finished the largest piece that we've ever made, which is 4 feet by 4 feet by almost 2 feet, which started off as a sheet, but we use the robot to push it out. It is a 4 feet by 4 feet element of a big archway, so which you can see behind the robot in a bit.
Good morning. My name is Eben Franks, and I am Director of Prototyping and Instrumentation here at Littoral Power in New Bedford. We are members of the entrepreneur space here at New Bedford Research and Robotics, and our company does research and development of wave energy conversion devices, as well as tidal turbine. And we also have a subsidiary that does hydropower. So we have developed a lot of instrumentation, a lot of devices to extract power from wave and water movement. So what we have here is a wave energy conversion device that's a test article, and this is designed and built to go into a wave tank that is instrumented, and that way we can quantify how much power this will produce. And we're developing software to make these types of devices much more efficient and extract more energy. Until now, they haven't produced anywhere near as much energy as we believe is possible. So we have some really phenomenal folks on our staff doing software development, and it's our job here to provide support to do all the testing. This was at the University of Maine about 3 weeks ago in their test tank up there, and we learned a lot and learned that we need to develop it further and add some more sensors. So it's a very iterative process, but in the bigger picture, this will provide a lot of opportunities for engineering and technical folks from around here, and it's our dream and hope to be able to do assembly and manufacturing right here in this building.
Generally, our classes are broken down and looking at design and manufacturing robotics applications and processes. And we break it down into 4 sections. First, we give a historic perspective of how a certain product was developed or manufactured. Then we look at applications or concerns or obstacles that maybe undermine that product being as efficient as possible. Then we look at how robotics design and computer-aided design might be able to address that problem, and then teams design that solution for the 3D printing, and then the individuals break down and further delineate and specify their own 3D prints. So in the class, we are looking at a historic perspective of manufacturing, then looking at obstacles that maybe got in the way of manufacturing a product to its best ability. Then we look at solutions that can be addressed with CAD and CAD manufacturing, robotic manufacturing, and then they actually have an opportunity to design and print those solutions.